Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Friday, March 12th, 2021. Today I'm going to recap yesterday's college basketball, NBA, and NHL games and look ahead to today and the weekend's games in each sport, as well as Major League Baseball spring training. We'll go over the current leaderboard at the PGA Players Championship. We'll preview and predict the NASCAR races for the weekend. Go over my latest news and notes and my best bet of the day. All right. We're going to start in college basketball as we do each and every day. Well, this is March. So, without further ado, here we go. A busy night, or busy day, all day yesterday. Toledo over Ball State, 91-89 in overtime in the MAC quarterfinal. Number 12, Oklahoma State over number 10, West Virginia, 72-69 in the Big 12 quarterfinal. Maryland over Michigan State, 68-57 the Big 10 second round. Georgetown over number 14, Villanova, 72-71 the Big East quarterfinal. Number 16, Virginia over Syracuse, 72-69 on a buzzer beater 3 by Reese Beekman. South Florida over Temple, 73-71. Mississippi State over Kentucky, 74-73. Southern Utah over Northern Colorado, 91-83. Ohio over Kent, 85-63. UC Santa Barbara over Long Beach State, 95-87. Number 9, Ohio State over Minnesota, 79-75. Oregon over Arizona State, 91-73. Florida over Vandy, 69-63. Number 2, Baylor over Kansas State, 74-68. Georgia Tech over Miami, 70-66. Number 19, San Diego State over Wyoming, 69-66. Seton Hall over St. John's, 77-69 in overtime. Tulane over Tulsa, 77-70. Texas Southern over Alcorn State, 78-55. Montana State over Idaho State, 71-63. Buffalo over Miami of Ohio, 74-63. St. Peter's over Rider, 75-60. UC Davis over Cal State Bakersfield, 58-56. Oregon State over UCLA, 83-79 in double overtime. Nevada over Boise State, 89-82. Number 17, Creighton over Butler, 87-56. Morgan State over Florida A&M, 77-75. Northwestern State over New Orleans, 82-79. Number 11, Kansas over number 25, Oklahoma, 69-62. Western Kentucky over UTSA, 80-67. Rutgers over Indiana, 61-50. UCF over East Carolina, 72-62. UAB over Rice, 73-60. Missouri over Georgia, 73-70. Akron over Bowling Green, 74-67. Seattle over Cal Baptist, 83-66. Niagara over Marist, 67-62. Eastern Washington over Northern Arizona, 66-60. UC Irvine over Cal Poly, 58-51. North Carolina defeats number 22 Virginia Tech, 81-73. Number 24 USC over Utah, 91-85 in double overtime. Lamar over Sam Houston State, 70-69. Utah State over UNLV, 74-53. UConn over DePaul, 94-60. Wisconsin over Penn State, 75-74. Norfolk State over NC Central, 87-58. Number 13, Texas over number 20, Texas Tech, 67-66. Louisiana Tech over FAU, 75-69. Grambling over Southern, 72-67 in overtime. Ole Miss over South Carolina, 76-59. North Texas over Old Dominion, 61-55. New Mexico State over Texas Rio Grande, 77-61. Montana over Weber State, 80-75. Riverside over Hawaii, 62-52. Number 23, Colorado over Cal, 61-58. And Colorado State over Fresno, 72-62. All right. Today's games, 11:30 a.m., Big Ten Network, Big Ten quarterfinal. Maryland at number 4, Michigan. Projections for this game. Michigan 11. I didn't do totals today because I did not have time. But I do have a somewhat vibe of where these teams go for over-under. So 8.5 and 132. I'm going to lay the 8.5 with Michigan against Maryland. I can't believe it. I have not, I don't think, touched Michigan in a game all year. I've been anti-Michigan in terms of against the spread because everybody was loving them. 12 o'clock, ESPN, SEC quarterfinal, Mississippi State, number 6, Alabama. I'm at Alabama 15, and it's 8. I'm laying the 8. CUSA semifinal, CBS Sports Network at noon. UAB, Western Kentucky. I'm at Western Kentucky by 2, and it's 1.5. Total's 134. I'm going to take the contrarian over at minus 102. ESPN 2, AAC, South Florida, Wichita State. I'm at Wichita 12.5. It's 9.5. I'm laying the 9.5. 2 o'clock, Big Ten Network, Big Ten quarterfinal, number 9, Ohio State against number 20, Purdue. I'm at Purdue by a half, and it's Ohio State 1.5. Wow. I'm taking Purdue plus, and now it's 1. I'm taking Purdue plus the 1 and plus 106 straight up. But normally, I wouldn't do that. So I'm going to go to the total instead because the line moved at me at the last second. I'm going to go over. Although I think Purdue will win. Purdue's going to close as a favorite, probably. ESPN, Florida, Tennessee, SEC quarterfinal. I'm at Tennessee by 2, and it's 4.5. I'm taking Florida in the points. 3 o'clock, ESPN 2, AAC, Cincinnati, SMU. SMU I have by 3, and it's 5.5. I'm taking Cincinnati plus the 5.5 at minus 116. CBS Sports Network, CUSA semifinal, North Texas, Louisiana Tech. I'm at Tech by 3. And I don't see a line for this game yet on FanDuel. ESPN has a Tech by 1. So I'm going to lay the 1 with Tech. SWAC semifinal, Texas Southern, Jackson State. I'm at a pick'em. And it's Southern by 2. Total 133. But I have the edge to Texas Southern. I'm going to take the over. In that game, I don't feel strong about it. 5 o'clock, CBS Sports Network, MAC semifinal, Ohio, Toledo. I'm at Toledo 7.5. And it's 3. I'm going to lay the 3 with Toledo. 6 o'clock, Fox Sports 1, Georgetown, Seton Hall. I'm at Hall by 6. And it's 3. I'm going to lay the 3 with Seton Hall. Morgan State, Coppin State, MEAC semifinal. I'm at Morgan by a half. And it's Morgan by 4. I'm taking Coppin State plus the 4, but expecting Morgan to win. ESPN News, MAC semifinal, Iona, Niagara. I'm at Iona by 4. And there's no line out for this game yet. But anyway, if Iona's favored by more than 6, I'm going to take Niagara. Or 6 or more, I'm going to take Niagara. And if they're favored by 2 or less, I'm going to lay it. Southland semifinal, Northwestern State, Nichols. I'm at Nichols 10.5. And it is 8. I'm going to lay to 8 with Nichols. 6:30 ESPN, number 12, Oklahoma State against number 2, Baylor. I'm at Baylor 9. And it's 9. Total's 149.5. I'm taking the over. Big Ten Network, Big Ten quarterfinal. Rutgers against number 3, Illinois. I'm at Illinois by 10. And it's 7.5. We lay to 7.5. ESPN U at 7 o'clock. AAC quarterfinal. Tulane against number 7, Houston. I'm at Houston by a whopping 22. And it's 17.5. We lay to 17.5 with Houston. SEC Network, Missouri against number 8, Arkansas. I'm at Arkansas by 8. And it is 4.5. We lay to 4.5. Big Sky semifinal, Montana State, Southern Utah. I'm at Southern Utah 7.5, and it's 7. Totals 115.5. I'm taking the under. That's very high. 7:30 CBS Sports Network, MAC semifinal, Akron, Buffalo. I'm at Buffalo by 4, and it's 4. Totals 115.5. I'm taking the over. 8 o'clock, WAC semifinal, Seattle, Grand Canyon. I'm at Grand Canyon 9.5, and it's 6.5. I'm laying the 6.5. MAC semifinal, Fairfield, St. Peter's. I don't see a lineup for this yet, but I have St. Peter's by 8. If they're favored by 10 or more, I'm taking Fairfield. And if St. Peter's is favored by 6 or less, I'm going to lay it. Pac-12 Network semifinal, Oregon State, Oregon. I'm at Oregon by 12, and it is 8.5. We're going to lay it 8.5 for the Oregon. 9 o'clock ESPN, North Carolina against number 15, Florida State. I'm at Florida State by 1.5. And it is 2.5. I don't see a total out for this game yet. And And I skipped Georgia Tech, Virginia. That's my apologies, guys. I don't know how I skipped that game. And I don't know why it's not on my card here. It's at 6:30 tonight. And it's on ESPN 2. Virginia's a 4-point favorite, and I project it by 7. So I have to lay to Fort Virginia. And Florida State's favorite by 2.5 against Carolina. Oh, today's Georgia Tech Virginia game has been canceled because of COVID issue within Virginia Tech program. That makes no sense. And canceled. I was a positive test with Virginia. Oh. So Georgia Tech to the title game. Wow. So that means Virginia's done for the season probably. That opens up an at-large spot for somebody. So I have to redo my entire mock bracket. Oof. But if Virginia drops out of the tournament, they're out of the ACC tournament, not the NCAA tournament, though. So this isn't a Duke situation. This is just an ACC tournament situation. So they're out of the ACC tournament due to a positive test. So that's breaking news coming down. So they knew. They knew. So I was scratching my head. And like, why did that game get moved? And this is weird. So I left off on Carolina, Florida State. And nothing is popped up yet on ESPN regarding that game. But it's Florida State by 1.5, and I would say this total would probably be like in the 130s, like I project in the 130s. And I do expect the Cavs to go out there and play it well. All right, next up, Southland semifinal, Lamar Abilene Christian. I'm at Christian by 17. And it's 12.5. I'm going to lay to 12.5. 9 o'clock, Fox Sports 1 Big East semifinal, UConn at number 17, Creighton. I'm at Creighton 3.5. And I don't see a line out for this game yet, weirdly enough. I see Pick'em. So I'm going to take Creighton. 9 o'clock, Big Ten Network. Big Ten quarterfinal, Wisconsin against number 5, Iowa. I'm at Iowa 5.5. And again, I don't see a lineup for this game on FanDuel. ESPN has it 4.5. So the total, I would project probably high 140s, low 150s, maybe. But I do think Iowa will win. Ole Miss LSU, SEC quarterfinal, SEC Network. I'm at LSU 3.5. And it is 1. I'm going to lay the 1 with LSU. Big West semifinal, UC Davis and UC Santa Barbara. I'm at Barbara by 9.5. It's 10. Total's 135.5. I'm taking the over. 9:30 ESPN2, number 13 Texas against number 11 Kansas. I'm at Kansas 2.5. And it's a pick 'em. I'm taking Kansas. Mountain West semifinal, Nevada against number 19 San Diego State. I'm at San Diego State 9.5, and it's 8. Totals 139. I'm taking the under. I don't feel good about it though. SWAC semifinal, Grambling Prairie View. I'm at Prairie View by 6, and that's what it is. I would say the total would be in the 130s. And I do think Prairie View will win. 10 o'clock ESPN UAAC quarterfinal, UCF Memphis. I'm at Memphis 11, and it's 7. I'm going to lay to 7. Montana Eastern Washington Big Sky semifinal. I'm at Eastern by 8.5, and it's 7. I could see this total being around the high 140s. 11 o'clock, New Mexico State, Utah Valley. I'm at New Mexico State by 1, and it's 5.5. I'm taking Utah Valley in the points. 11:30 Pac-12 semifinal, number 23 Colorado against number 24 USC. I'm at SC 2.5. It's Colorado by 1.5. Wrong team's favored. I'm taking USC plus the 1.5. Midnight Eastern, Riverside Irvine. I'm at Irvine 6.5. We don't have a line out yet. I do think Irvine will win, and if Irvine's giving more than 8, I'm taking Riverside, and if Irvine's giving less than 5, I'm laying it with Irvine. And last but not least, Mountain West semifinal, Colorado State, Utah State. I'm at Utah State by 2. I don't see a line yet. If it's a pick'em or Colorado State favorite, I'm taking Utah State. And if Utah State's favored by 4 or more, I'm taking Colorado State. So there you have it for college basketball for today. Tomorrow, the AEC final, UMass Lowell and Hartford. Should be an interesting game. I think it's incredible that both of these teams are in the final, quite frankly. I project this Hartford by 1.5, and I think that Hartford will be in the big dance. 1 o'clock on CBS is the Big Ten semifinal. 1 o'clock on ESPN2 is the MEAC final. 1 o'clock ESPN is SEC semifinal. 3 o'clock ESPN2, AAC semifinal. 3 o'clock ESPN SEC semifinal. 3:30 CBS Big Ten semifinal. 4 o'clock ESPNU Metro Atlantic final. 5:30 ESPN2 is one of the other AAC semifinals. 6 o'clock ESPN is the Big 12 final. 6 o'clock ESPNU is the SWAC final. 6 o'clock on CBS is the MWC final. 6:30 on Fox is the Big East final. 7:30 on ESPN2 is the Mid-American final. 8 o'clock ESPNU is the Big Sky final. 8:30 on ESPN is the ACC final. It'll be Georgia Tech against either Florida State or Carolina. 9 o'clock CBS Sports Network is the CUSA final. 9:30 ESPN2 is the Southland final. 10 o'clock ESPNU is the WAC final. 10:30 ESPN is the Pac-12 final. And 11:30 on ESPN2 is the Big West final. So a loaded day tomorrow in college basketball, but we only have one matchup determined. And then on Sunday, 12 o'clock noon, Loyola, Maryland, and Colgate in the Patriot League final. This should be an interesting game. The best player on the court will probably be Jordan Burns of Colgate. I don't think anybody would have thought Loyola, Maryland for this conference title game, but here we are. I project Colgate by 16 in that game, so I expect Colgate to punch its ticket on Sunday afternoon. 1 o'clock ESPN is the SEC final. We'll see whom that will be against, and a big-time game for the A-10 final, which is on Sunday at 1 o'clock on CBS between St. Bonaventure and VCU. Two very talented teams. I project this to be St. Bonaventure by 1, and it's 1.5. I would think that the total would be in the mid 130s probably. So my play for this right now is St. Bonaventure money line. I think both these teams are in the tournament regardless. I think VCU can move up a seed line if they win this game, and St. Bonaventure could drop one. Or maybe remain the same seed line. I think Bonaventure will be where I project them to be regardless, but it's VCU that if they win this game, then I think I could see a world where they move up. 3:15 on ESPN on Sunday afternoon is the AAC final, and then 3:30 on CBS is the Big Ten final. So, Selection Sunday. Sunday night, I'm actually going to have 2 podcasts. One of them is actually not going to be college basketball related. I'm going to have Bobby Thompson on from Grunt Talks MLB to go over NFL free agency. Well, the website's called Grunt Talks MLB, so it's really just Grunt Talks. So we're going to have Bobby on the show to preview NFL free agency, and then I'm going to do a solo show Sunday night to go over the bracket and compare it to my final projected bracket. So that is going to be a whole lot of fun. Now we'll finally move on to the NBA and quickly look back on yesterday's results and look ahead to tonight and the weekend. Hornets over the Pistons, 105-102. Nets over the Celtics, 121-109. Hawks over the Raptors, 121-120. Heat over the Magic, 111-103. 76ers over the Bulls, 127-105. Bucks over the Knicks, 134-101. Wolves over the Pistons, 135-105. Thunder over the Mavs, 116-108. Clippers over the Warriors, 130-104. Suns over the Blazers, 127-121. And the Kings over the Rockets, 125-105. Only 7 games on the slate for tonight. First up at 8 o'clock, 76ers Wizards. I'm at Sixers 2 total 230. And that is presumptively without Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. And I will be shocked if Washington's a favorite here. Philly by 4 total 234. I'm going to take the under. I still think that is a super high total, especially if Embiid and Simmons aren't there. I know they blew out the Bulls and scored 127 last night, but that was last night on the second of a back-to-back. I like Washington plus the 4 as well, but to me the stronger play is under 234. NBA TV, Nuggets Grizzlies, I'm at Denver 5.5 total to 24.5. Meanwhile, it's 3.5 and 227. I'm going to lay 3.5 with Denver at minus 106. That is a valuable number. Cavs Pelicans, I'm at Pelicans 5 total to 24. Meanwhile, it is 7 and 229. I'm taking the under. The Cavs offense is just a joke. I know both teams' defense is tanking. The Pels have a good offense, but Pelicans total numbers are overinflated. I'm taking the under. 9 o'clock Heat Bulls. I'm at Miami 6.5 total to 22.5. It's 2.5 and 219.5. I'm laying it with the Heat. Second of a back-to-back for the Bulls. I mean, and the Heat too, but the Bulls looked terrible last night. They might be a second-half flop team in the making. Either them or the Knicks. Or them and the Knicks, to me, are the 2 front-runners to be the second-half disappointment team after decent starts. So I'm laying the 2.5 of Miami. Magic Spurs. I'm at San Antonio 7 total to 20. Meanwhile, 6.5 and 215.5. I'm taking the over. That is a low total. 10 o'clock Rockets Jazz. I'm at Utah 21 total 222.5. Meanwhile, 17 and 226.5. Utah's at a juice number, so I'm taking under 226.5. I think that the defense for the Jazz will step up. And I don't think that Christian Wood's playing either, and I forgot to factor that in. So to make it 22.5 for the Utah Jazz. And last but not least, 10:30 NBA TV, Pacers, Lakers. I'm at Lakers 10.5, so it's 221.5, and that is presumptively without Anthony Davis, TJ Warren, and Karis LeVert. And it's 4.5 total, 260.5. That's way too low. I'm laying it with the Lakers. The Pacers have a ton of injuries. I have to make sure people are coming back, or is LeBron not playing? Let's see. Let's see if LeBron's playing. He should be playing. So that's ridiculously low. As far as I'm concerned, LeBron James is playing. He's gonna be the best player on the court. I love the Lakers. I'm laying it with the Lakers tonight against Indiana. I don't see those Pacers players back, and they might have Anthony. What if Anthony Davis? What if it's announced that Anthony Davis is gonna play? That line's just only gonna go up, right? So I'm gonna lay the 4.5. I have a 6-point differential on the Lakers tonight. All right, the weekend's games. Saturday, 2 o'clock NBA TV, Knicks Thunder. 7 o'clock NBA TV, Pistons Nets. Raptors Hornets, Bucks Wizards. 7:30 Kings Hawks. 8 o'clock Blazers Wolves. 10 o'clock NBA TV, Mavs Nuggets, and Pacers Suns. Sunday, 2 o'clock Grizzlies Thunder. 4 o'clock NBA TV, Jazz Warriors. 6:30 NBA TV, Spurs Sixers. 7 o'clock Heat Magic. 7:30 Cavs Hawks. 8 o'clock Celtics Rockets. Wolves hosting the Blazers. 9 o'clock Raptors Bulls, and 9 o'clock on ESPN, the Clips and the Pels. The Clippers will probably win that game on the road. Presumptively, best player on the court, Kawhi Leonard. So that's going to be the game that ESPN will have but after their Selection Sunday show. And then Scott Van Pelt will probably have his show, assuming that Scott Van Pelt will probably be on before and after Clippers Pelicans, to be quite frank. So that should be a lot of fun. Now I'll move on to the NHL. We'll look back on yesterday's results very quickly. And we will look ahead to tonight and the weekend. Bruins over the Rangers 4-0. Pens over the Sabres 5-2. Isles over the Devils 5-3. Caps over the Flyers 5-3. Canes over the Preds 5-1. Panthers over the Jackets 5-4 in overtime on a game winner by Frank Vatrano. Maple Leafs over the Jets 4-3 in overtime on a game winner by Austin Matthews. Red Wings over the Bolts 6-4. Blackhawks over the Stars 4-2. And the Flames over the Habs 2-1. So the Flames win in Darryl Suther's first game. Only 5 games tonight. 8 o'clock, you have the Golden Knights and the Blues. A great game in the West Division. The Knights are -110. The Blues are -106. Over under 5.5. Overs -122. Unders even money. Vegas -1.5 is +190. Blues +1.5 is -235. I like the Blues at -106. As an underdog to win outright. They're a slight underdog at the moment. Robin Leonard is in the AHL with the Henderson Silver Knights doing conditioning. So, looks like obviously Marc-Andre Fleury net, but I don't think it matters for Vegas when it comes to some matchups. But on the road against the Blues, fans in the building, I think. So I'm taking the Blues. The Coyotes and the Wild. The Coyotes are +162. The Wild are -194. Over under 5.5. Overs -104. The unders -118. Coyotes +1.5 is -164. The Wild -1.5 is +136. I'm going to take the over 5.5 and -104. Darcy Kemper's out due to injury, so it's going to be Antti Ranta. I think there's going to be a lot of goal scores, so give me the over in that game. 9 o'clock, you have the Senators and the Oilers. The Oilers -275. The Sens are +225. Over under 6.5. Overs -114. The unders -106. Ottawa plus 1.5 is minus 118. Edmonton minus 1.5 is minus 102. This is hard. I'm going to go contrarian and play the under. I could see this being a 4-2 game, potentially. Kings Avs. The Kings are ridiculous, minus 250. The Kings are plus 205. Over under 5.5. Overs minus 115. Unders minus 105. The Kings plus 1.5 is minus 108. The Avs minus 1.5 is plus 106. I'm going to go with the juiced over at minus 115. I think there's going to be a lot of goals scored in this game. The Kings have been solid at times offensively throughout the year, and I think the Avs can score with them. And I think this could be an empty net decides it in a 3-2 game, and it goes to 4-2. And 10 o'clock, the Sharks and the Ducks. The Sharks are minus 116 favorites. The Ducks are minus 102 underdogs. Over under 5.5. Overs minus 114. Unders minus 106. The Sharks minus 1.5 is plus 210. The Ducks plus 1.5 is minus 260. I'm going to take the Ducks as a home dog at minus 102. I don't love the San Jose team. I think that John Gibson can carry them. So give me under, or not the under. I think the under's in play, but I don't love it. I think both these teams have been overs of late. So I'm going to take the Ducks at minus 102. Saturday, 1 o'clock, Rangers, Bruins. 5 o'clock, Stars, Blue Jackets. 7 o'clock, Penguins, Sabres. Islanders, Devils. Caps, Flyers. Preds, Lightning. Blackhawks, Panthers. Jets, Leafs. Habs, Flames. 8 o'clock, Golden Knights, Blues. 10 o'clock, Oilers, Canucks, and Sharks, Ducks. Sunday, 2 o'clock, the Coyotes and the Wild. 5 o'clock, the Hurricanes and the Red Wings. Stars, Blue Jackets. Islanders, Devils. 7 o'clock, Leafs, Senators. And on NBCSN, you have the Kings and the Avalanche. So, should be a fun weekend of NHL games. Now, I'm going to quickly go over Major League Baseball spring training results from yesterday and look ahead to the games for the weekend. Yanks over the Phils 6-1. Pirates over the Orioles 7-5. Red Sox over the Twins 5-4 and 8. Braves over the Rays 2-0. Nats and Marlins tied at 1. Jays over the Tigers 10-6 and 7. A's over the Rangers 6-0 and 7. Cubs over the Rocks 8-6. Pods over the Indians 5-4. Royals over the Brewers 4-2 and 7. Angels over the Giants 5-4 and 7. Mets over the Astros 1-0. Reds over the White Sox 4-7. And Mariners and Dodgers ended a 4-4 draw in 7. Today's games, 1 o'clock, Yankees, Tigers, Braves, Twins, Phillies, Orioles, Rays, Red Sox, Blue Jays, Pirates, Marlins, Mets, White Sox, Tigers at 3 o'clock, Rockies, Giants, Dodgers, Indians, Brewers, Cubs, Pods, Athletics, Diamondbacks, Angels, 6 o'clock, Astros, Cardinals, and 8:40, Reds, Mariners. Saturday, 1 o'clock, Pirates, Yankees, Braves, Red Sox, Tigers, Phillies, Twins, Rays, Orioles, Blue Jays, 3 o'clock, Angels, White Sox, Cubs, Royals, Indians, Giants, Diamondbacks, Padres, Mariners, Rockies, Rangers, Brewers, 6 o'clock, Mets, Nats, Cards, Marlins, 8 o'clock, A's, Reds. And on Sunday, 1 o'clock, Yankees, Jays, Orioles, Tigers, Rays, Braves, Red Sox, Twins, Nats, Stros, Phils, Pirates, Cardinals, Mets, 3 o'clock, Padres, Reds, 4 o'clock, Angels, Cubs, Rockies, Rangers, White Sox, Athletics, Giants, Diamondbacks, Brewers, Mariners, and a late night game between the Royals and the Dodgers. Now I'm going to take a look at the current leaderboard for the Players' Championship. I forgot to give out my pick yesterday. I picked Bryson DeChambeau to win the tournament. So here we have it right now, the current leaderboard for the Players' Championship. In first place at 7 under, Sergio Garcia. Tied for second, Jason Day, Dylan McCarthy, Matthew Fitzpatrick, Corey Connors, and Brian Harmon at 4 under. Tied for 7th with 3 under, Lee Westwood, Bryson DeChambeau, Dustin Johnson, Tom Hogue, Justin Korkrak, and Rory Sabantini. And a big tie for 14th with 2 under, Gary Woodland. I'm just going to do notables at this point because of the time. Colin Moriqua, Brendan Steele, Tied for 25th with 1 under, Webb Simpson, Michael Thompson, Justin Thomas, Brent Horschel, Phil Mickelson, Sebastian Munoz, Jordan Spieth, Ricky Palmer, Taylor Gooch, Chris Kirk. Tied for 45th at even, Sanjay Im, Victor Hovland, Abraham Ancer, Patrick Reed, John Rahm, Mackenzie Hughes, Adam Scott, Mark Leishman, Cam Champ, Harold Varner III, Luke List, Danny Lee. Tied for 64th with 1 over, Lewis Olson, Paul Casey, Luke Griffin, Doc Redmond, Victor Perez, Joaquin Neiman, Zach Johnson, Daniel Berger, Andrew Landry. Tied for 85th with 2 over, Patrick Cantlay, Brendan Todd, Adam Hadwin's in there. Tied for 99th with 3 over, Lucas Glover, Kevin Kisner, Shezver V, Bubba Watson, John Hahn, Brock Stewart. Tied for 111th with 4 over, Hideki Matsuyama, Tyrell Hatton, Xavier Schauffele, JT Potson, Cam Triangle, Patrick Rogers. Tied for 126 with 5 over, Ian Poulter, Ricky Fowler. Actually, Ryan Fowler was the Fowler that I thought was Ricky. Oops. Caleb Schwartzel, Tommy Fleetwood. Tied for 132nd with 6 over, Tony Finau. Tied for 137th with 7 over, Rory McIlroy. That's terrible. Tyler Duncan, Max Hubbard. Tied for 141st with 8 over, Ryan Berwensky, Henrik Nordlander. And that's it among the notables. Oh, and Kevin Na withdrew. So that's pretty significant. Now I'm going to preview and predict the NASCAR races for the weekend. Only 2 races this weekend. And they will both be coming to you from Phoenix. We are going to start with the Xfinity starting lineup for Phoenix. Starting in the pole position, Daniel Hemrick. Second, Brandon Jones, and then the rest of it, Austin Cindric, AJ Allmendinger, Justin Haley, Jeb Burton, Harrison Burton, Josh Berry, Noah Gragson, Brendan Brown, Justin Allgaier, Jeremy Clements, Santino Ferrucci, Tommy Joe Martins, Joe Graff Jr., Josh Williams, Landon Castle, Matt Snyder, Brett Moffitt, Jeffrey Earnhardt, Dexter Bean, Jesse Little, Colby Howard, Ryan Vargas, Kyle Weatherman, Ty Gibbs, Blaine Perkins, Bailey Curry, Riley Herbst, Ryan Sieg, Jade Buford, J.J. Yealy, Greg Galding, Stephon Parsons, Alex Labb, David Starr, Matt Mills, Timmy Hill, and Chad Fincham. I'm going to go to DraftKings for my odds. Austin Cindric is a plus 275 favorite. I don't like that. But my pick, I'm going to go with the guy I went last week, Justin Haley at 20-1. He's starting in 5th. I think that he wants to get going a little bit here, so I'm going to go with Justin Haley at 20-1. And now the Cup Series starting lineup from Phoenix. So, without further ado, here we go. Your pole sitter is Brad Keselowski. Then it's Kyle Larson, Denny Hamlin, Chris Bell, Martin Truex Jr., Chase Elliott, Kyle Busch, Ryan Blaney, Joey Logano, William Byron, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Kurt Busch, Austin Dillon, Eric Jones, Ryan Preece, Michael McDowell, Chris Buescher, Kevin Harvick, Ryan Newman, Matt DiBenedetto, Alex Bowman, Ross Chaston, Tyler Reddick, Cole Custer, Bubba Wallace, Chase Briscoe, Daniel Suarez, Anthony Alfredo, Justin Haley, BJ McLeod, Cody Ware, Eric Almirola, Corey LaJoie, JJ Yealy, Quinn Houff, Josh Bilicki, Timmy Hill, and James Davison. All right, so for the Cup Series, from Phoenix. My pick to win the Instacart 500 will be, let's go with Martin Truex Jr. at 11-1. He is starting in 5th. I think that he wants to get going a little bit here. So I'm going to go Martin Truex Jr. at 11-1 to win the Instacart 400 from Phoenix. Now the latest news and notes. We talked about it in the last segment that the game between Georgia Tech and Virginia has been canceled due to COVID issues within the Virginia program. It's going to be interesting to see if Virginia will be out of the NCAA tournament or not. But for the time being, they're out of the ACC tournament. So it looks like that they will be in the big dance. So I'm going to do my latest mock bracket in the next segment. And that will include the Cavaliers. Cam Newton re-signed with the Patriots on a 1-year, $14 million deal. This is a surprise to a lot of people. I thought that he was bound to go to Washington to reunite with Ron Rivera, but no. And Adam Schefter also said that this does not preclude them from going after another quarterback, whether that's in the draft or trade or free agency. So that is an interesting little wrinkle that Adam Schefter threw in there. All right, so other news, PJ Tucker and the Rockets have agreed to part ways, and they agreed that he'll no longer be a part of the team and are working to find a solution. I think that PJ will get bought out and will end up on a contender. The NBA suspends Leonard for a slur. He's been fined $50,000 and was suspended from all Heat facilities for 1 week after using the anti-Semitic slur. Jordan Binghamton and the Blues agreed to a 6-year, $36 million extension. That is an out-of-nowhere extension. He's getting paid from the goalie, the Flames goalie that used to be the Canucks goalie, Markstrom, Jacob Markstrom. He's getting Markstrom money, as I like to call it. So good for Jordan Binghamton. That Stanley Cup run really did him wonders by landing him that contract. Patrick Ewing rips MSG security. Patrick Ewing said that he keeps getting stopped by security at the Big East tournament. And he goes, they should know who the hell I am. Damn straight, Patrick Ewing, they should know who the hell you are. The best player in Knicks history. And Patrick Ewing, by the way, fantastic job getting Georgia Tech to the semifinals. He's really done a nice job as a head coach at Georgetown. The Giants and Nate Solder are working on a deal. There's optimism that Nate Solder will return to the Giants in 2021 on a new contract. So that is pretty interesting. I think that they should have cut him instead of Kevin Zeitler. But apparently, maybe the cap hit would have been bigger if they cut Solder rather than Zeitler. Maybe they are restructuring Solder's deal and making it less money so he could take a pay cut. We talked about Cam Newton already. Duke men's basketball out of the ACT tournament after a positive COVID-19 test. We didn't really get to it yesterday. They're out of the tournament as a whole. They're out of the NCAA tournament. They wouldn't have made it, though. That's why I think that Duke dropped out completely. I think they know that was their reality. Even Coach K said it before the COVID case, that they had to win the ACC tournament to get in. So, like I said, Duke wouldn't have been in anyway, and I don't think they would have beaten Florida State, even if that COVID thing didn't happen. Major League Baseball test rules in the minors, rules including larger bases at AAA and keeping players on the infield in front of the outfield grass at AA. So that is an interesting rule. USA Hoops roster finalists. There's a lot of finalists, obviously headlined by the three biggest stars in the NBA, LeBron James, Kevin Durant, and Stephen Curry. So we talked about the Cam deal already. The Texans signed Mark Ingram to a 3-year, $1 million deal. So that is interesting as well. So there you have it for the news and notes for today. Now I'm doing my mock bracket. I had to keep that segment short because of time. So my latest mock bracket. So without further ado, here we go. The number 1 overall seed, Gonzaga Bulldogs. The second number 1 seed in the second region, the Baylor Bears. The number 3 overall seed in the third region, the third number 1 seed, the Michigan Wolverines. And the fourth number 1 seed and the number 1 seed in the fourth region, the Illinois Fighting Illini. I'm going to do it the same way as I did it last time. Go through each seed line and go in order of what region they're in, 1 through 4. 2 seeds, Iowa, Houston, Alabama, Arkansas. 3 seeds, Kansas, Creighton, Oklahoma State, Virginia. 4 seeds, Florida State, Ohio State, West Virginia, Villanova. 5 seeds, Texas, San Diego State, Georgia Tech, Texas Tech. 6 seeds, Virginia Tech, Purdue, Oregon, USC. 7 seeds, Wichita State, Oklahoma, Wisconsin, Colorado. 8 seeds, Loyola Chicago, BYU, Connecticut, Louisville. 9 seeds, Clemson, Tennessee, St. Bonaventure, LSU. 10 seeds, VCU, Rutgers, North Carolina, Utah State. 11 seeds, Seton Hall, Syracuse, Maryland, Florida. 12 seeds, playing game, Missouri, Colorado State. For the 1 region and the 2 region playing seeds for 12 seeds. Look at this. Michigan State, UCLA. And the other 2 12 seeds are Winthrop and Liberty. 13 seeds, UC Santa Barbara, UNC Greensboro, Toledo, Western Kentucky. 14 seeds, Grand Canyon, Eastern Washington, Cleveland State, App State. 15 seeds, Morehead State, Colgate, Hartford, Drexel. And the 16 seeds, Oral Roberts and Abilene Christian. And in the play-in matches, St. Peter's, Norfolk State in the 3 region. And then the 4 region, Mount St. Mary's and Prairie View. All right, there you have it for the latest mock bracket. And last but not least, my best bet of the day brought to you by FanDuel. I hinted at it earlier. I'm going to lay it with the Lakers at 4.5 against the Pacers. I think that that line is ridiculously low. The best player on the court will be LeBron James, regardless of who's back for the Pacers and who's not playing for the Lakers. But I think it's ridiculous that that line is that low. I make it 10.5 without Davis and without the Pacers guys. But even without if Warren and I'm blanking on the name, LeVert are there, I'd make it 7. And I'd still have value on the Lakers. And that's without Davis. So I'm going to lay the 4.5 with the Lakers against Indiana. I love it. So there you have it for my best bet. All right, that's it for the show today. I'll be back on Monday recapping everything from college basketball, NBA, NHL will be spring training. I'm looking ahead to the games in each sport. We will talk more about the NCAA tournament. I know that we'll have a special podcast on Sunday night, but we'll talk more about it on Monday. And obviously, NASCAR and golf and all the latest news that happens in the world of sports and pop culture. Hope you guys have a great day, everybody.